All right, back again with my favorite home inspector, one of my favorite people, the best home inspector I know, one of the best people I know, Ralph Lush, fellow Kings Parker. Ralph, what's going on, buddy?
What's going on, John? How are you?
Doing all right, busy days, but nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I like busy days. I like busy days.
I know you're busy too, another two job kind of guy.
Trying, yeah, that's it.
Got to make a living, right?
Of course, of course. The hustle is real, It's always got to keep going.
It's so crazy. I didn't say this, but Ralph is the owner operator of Lush Home Inspections. I try to use him on every home inspection that I can. So if you are a buyer watching this, Ralph is great. He is awesome. He is the best. I would highly recommend using Ralph if you are thinking about buying a home and need a home inspector because he's honest. He educates you and he does not scare you out of a deal unless you should be scared out of a deal.
True, yeah.
That
That's
which, I mean, I've seen it. I've seen it on the other end where it's just like, oh, scare them out of this inspection. They're going to get another, I'm going to get another inspection out of this. The worst thing.
Listen, most things are fixable. It's just a matter if you want to spend the time and money to fix it, right? So,
I literally have that conversation every house I walk through where it's like, oh, maybe we could do this. Maybe I'm like, you could do whatever you want as long as your pockets are deep enough.
right, exactly. It's a blank canvas. So,
Yeah, it's true. I mean, like when you think about it, when someone renovates down to the studs, they're ripping everything out and redoing the whole thing. It's just, do you
that's
want to
it.
spend that money to do it? That's it.
Time and money. That's all it is.
Absolutely. All right. So let's jump in right now. It's fall. It's November 1st. Halloween just passed. And I want to show people, or I want you to tell people, as a home inspector, what are things that we should be doing right now to prep our home for fall and winter?
Sure. So basically, obviously, it's getting colder out and pipes freeze, right? So you want to blow out your irrigation systems, your water spigots outside. You want them to be turned off from the inside and blown out as well. I always tell people to use one of these. These go on like the actual outside spigot and like kind of insulates not heat, but just make sure the spigot doesn't freeze or whatnot, and you have later worse problems, right?
What is
Uh,
that thing called? What is that? Can you hold that up again?
Yeah, it's basically like I don't know what it's actually called. It's like you get it at any hardware store. It's for your water spigot for outside. It's like an
Oh,
insulator, basically. It's like a weird looking thing you can find on Amazon or whatnot.
okay.
Um, but you know what? I'll send you a link, and then you can post it up there if you want, and I'll find it for you guys.
Yeah,
Uh,
absolutely. That's the first time I've ever heard of that. So
no, it's really good to have. It really is. It makes a difference. So you don't want your pipes bursting and causing more of a problem.
definitely.
Another thing I always like to touch base on is your dryer vent. So your dryer vent, a lot of people don't even think about dryer vents. You know, all lint builds up in that dryer vent. So what happens is, it could cause a fire one day. Like if you don't clean out that dryer vent because it's lint, it's very flammable and it's a lot of heat going through there. So especially in the wintertime, it's cold. That's when, house fires actually happen. So
Mm,
definitely get that cleaned out. Another thing, since it is coming up to colder times, if you have a chimney with for firewood, like if you're using it for, fire, make
yeah.
sure your damper door is closed when you're not using it, and make sure the damper door is open when you are using it, and also make sure it's cleaned out too.
Okay. I've had had experience being in a house with the fireplace going and the damper not open.
Yeah,
Um, and what's crazy is like people, anyone who sees this who actually remembers this incident will probably be laughing, but I can't describe it in full detail. But well, you don't even realize how smoky it's getting when that thing's closed. And then like when it was happening, someone walked in and like, wow, it's smoky in here. And it wasn't
yeah,
like,
yeah.
illicit things were going on. It was just literally the fireplace was going and the damper wasn't open. And we didn't even realize how much smoke was in the house at that time. I'm sure the smoke
Right.
alarms weren't working and whatnot. And I could see that situation going south really quickly.
It can, and like people panic when they see that. They think there's an actual fire in the house or whatnot, and
Yeah.
then it's just open that damper door, and you won't have that problem.
That's great advice. I mean, which I wouldn't even think of it. And it's funny what you mentioned too about the dryer vents. Now, here's the thing, like I feel like online every day on Facebook, I see like someone is trying to get into Kings Park business referrals
Yeah,
and do dryer vent cleaning, and they're like all scams. So if anybody has an actual real dryer vent cleaning service, or Ralph, if you know someone that you want to plug on here that is not a scam, that actually cleans and
Yeah,
dry events.
I would like one for myself too, because I'm tired of doing
Okay.
it myself. So, um, yeah,
Well, if you know what if you're watching this, you could pay Ralph to come and do it, and he'll take care of it for you.
sure, why not?
Yeah, but well, listen, that would actually be the perfect plug for this, because you could just start a new business as a dry event cleaner, and you're not a scam. You're right here, and you know how to do it.
Everyone needs it though. Honestly, everyone really does need it because they definitely no one thinks about that stuff.
No, I mean, my wife sends it to me. She sent it to me the other day, and she's like, "We need to do this." And I'm like, "These things are all scams. These people are just trying to get in your house. I'm not doing that. That's ridiculous. It'll be fine." And now, like, your home inspector's saying it, so she was right, and I was wrong. What else
I
is
mean,
new?
it's really not much. I mean, I've seen companies do it for 120 bucks, maybe 150 bucks the most. Like, it's not really that much, and it goes a long way.
All right, well, I'll add it to the list. I really
Mhm.
didn't think about it. Thank you. That's more,
Of
again,
course,
more useful information.
of course, of course. I mean, I could go on and on talking about like getting ready for fall and winter. Like, get your heating system like serviced if you have a furnace. Make sure if you have oil, make sure the oil tank is filled up, ready to go. Just make sure all that stuff is ready for when the colder weather's here. You're not like kind of scrambling.
Yeah, definitely, especially if you don't have like scheduled deliveries or whatever,
Right,
or automatic deliveries for oil.
right,
Um,
right, right.
that's definitely something you want to keep in mind.
Of course.
Um, and then as far as prepping for fall, I know, what are your views on like gutter guards? Do you find them useful? I've heard mixed reviews. I've heard things like, where do you stand on that?
To be honest, I like them. I mean, if
Okay.
they're done correctly, I like them. Sure, things could get in there and stuff like that. And it's probably harder for you to clean and stuff, but for the most part, it's we're dealing with leaves being in there, and it's just like let's just picture this, right? You have leaves built up in there, right? Now you have all the water built up in there. Now it's clogging, and now the really cold weather starts to come, and now all that water becomes ice, and now that gutter becomes so heavy on um, your ledger board. I mean, not ledger board, fascia board.
Hmm.
And yeah, that could be a problem eventually. So definitely clean out your gutters.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, because we were kind of going back and forth about the gutter guards. Like, should we do it? We were
Yeah.
told, they're like, I heard again mixed reviews. I've heard from people that love them, heard from people that hate them. The guys who were installing the gutters were like, they're not worth it. I just don't think they wanted to do it.
Mhm.
Um,
I
so
mean, listen, if you're gonna clean out your gutters, every year, why not? It's fine.
right.
But if you don't want to, I mean, you probably have to go up there anyway. So I'm indifferent with it, honestly.
Okay. Yeah, but see, you're also like you're used to getting up on roofs. Like you
Yeah.
get up there, like you're like, I don't go on roofs. Like roofs are not made for me. Like I was not made for roofs. Like
Yeah. I'm
I'm
not a
either
big
gonna
roof
break
guy,
it or
but you
I'm
have
gonna
to get up
fall.
there. Yeah.
What's that?
I said, not a big roof guy, but you have to get up there,
You got to do it. You're doing it. Like I see you do it. I'm I hate watching you go up in a roof. Like, oh my God, please don't go up there.
It is
Um,
sketchy sometimes. Yeah.
yeah, especially old roof. Oh my God, that the roof. The two parts about your job that immediately, like, there's many other things that would turn me away from it, but the two things that immediately turn me away from what you do is going on the roof and then having to go into attics. Like,
Yeah.
no thanks. Especially like a tight crawl space when you got to go up there. Like to me, that would drive me nuts. I'm
Basement
claustrophobic
crawl
and I
space
don't
is
like
the
heights.
worst though. Basement crawl spaces, those are the worst because you're like you have like 3 feet of room and you're like army crawling through there.
No, nope. But
That's
you're used to this stuff. You work for the sheriff's. Which you're in Southampton,
I work for Southampton Town Police now.
Southampton Town Police, right? So
Yep.
you're used to this kind of stuff. Like you've been through the training. Like it's probably nothing
Yeah,
for
true, true. Maybe a little bit.
you. Yeah, I'm like, no way, man. Keep me out of crawl spaces. Keep me off roofs and keep me out of attics. You want me in the front of the house talking to people and selling the house. That's where you want me, because otherwise I'm useless.
Listen, man, we need you. We need you out there. So keep doing
Yeah,
what you
well,
do.
there's a million of us.
Yeah, but you're reliable and honest. So, and
Well,
a
I
lot of
appreciate that.
realtors
Thank
that
you.
deal with are, which are great. But you find you know when you meet the wrong one. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's unfortunately in sales, not everybody has the customer's best interest at heart. And I shouldn't say just
Yeah.
sales, just in general, there are people who are out for themselves and not out to take care of their customers, which those people should, find another line of work, I think. I don't know how you, especially with real estate and being most people's biggest asset. I don't understand how you could ever be selfish about it and just worry about yourself. To me, that is a major red flag. And yeah, hopefully we'll see more and more people. I think it's actually getting better. I think more and more people are getting in with the right intentions and understand that
Oh yeah.
you need to take care of people. And you're always going to have some bad apples and whatnot, but you
Right.
know what?
The
I do
people
what I do, and that's it.
yeah, people if you take care of them, they'll take care of you, right? So um and you want to genuinely take care of them because it's just the right thing to do,
Yeah.
but you're gonna get referrals from it. Stop.
Haha, the puppy
Sorry
going.
about that.
No, that's all right. Yeah, we got the blind shut, so he can't yell. But yeah, well, listen, that's why I refer to you. I refer you to everybody is because I know how you operate. Just seeing you
Yeah.
the first time, I'm like, all right, look, you're honest. You teach people as you're walking through the house. You show them everything. You educate them. I've seen so many home inspectors who don't do that, who give bad advice, who just are there like they're walking through. Yeah, this is fine. This is fine. This is fine. And like that's great if everything's fine, but
Right.
you take the time to talk about everything that you need to talk about. You explain things in a way that makes it palatable, which is honestly really hard to do.
Yeah.
But you make things understandable for people and you're not an alarmist, which I like. You will say like, all right, this is an issue. Here's why, here's what you need to do, or here, get it checked out, whatever.
Right.
And I love that. I love the way you do business. That's why
Thank you.
whoever I'm using, yeah, man, like when I'm with buyers, I'm always like, okay, I have a home inspector. Like, I hope you don't because my guy's the best. And 9 times out of 10, they don't, and it works out.
Listen, I'm a visual learner, and I know a lot of people are as well. So that's why I like to try and teach them. Be like, come down to like the boiler area and tell them like about it, like in like English, like what
Yeah.
they understand. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
simpler terms. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So just so they're aware of it, like I want to point out to people where the main water shutoff is. God forbid something's happening in like the bathroom or something like that, right?
Yep.
These are all important things. So
Absolutely. That's honestly when I love when my buyers ask, like, should I go to the home inspection? And I always say, absolutely. Number one reason why is because if you don't know a lot about houses, this is your lesson. This is your big presentation about this house and where you're going to learn everything about it. You're going to learn where the water shutoff is. You're going to learn where the gas intake is or the oil tank is and where it's going to get filled. You're going to learn all of those details that you need to know in the home inspection. And then things are happening so fast and you're looking for flaws. And it's really, really important to be there. And then you get the report and then and you could always look back on that and say, okay, I have everything.
exactly. So they like getting the report and they saw what you were talking about instead of getting a picture of what it is, and they're like, "Where is that?" You know what I mean?
Right.
So,
Right.
that
You're
happens.
like, wait,
That's
what
why
part
I
of the
like-
house was that?
Yeah, I'm like, that's what I like when people walk through the inspection with me, so I could show you. But yeah,
Yeah.
do what you gotta do.
100%.
Mhm.
All right. So we talked about gutters. We talked about covering up your hoses, blowing out the lines. Really, it sounds like a lot of ways to prevent leaks from like freezing water, leaks getting in and stuff like that,
Yeah,
because obviously
right.
water damage is a huge thing.
Of course.
I guess one thing you don't have to worry about too much is bugs, but do pests become more of an issue in like fall, winter time? Like,
I'm glad you
I guess
asked
bugs
that.
too, but
Yeah, we'll go with pests. Like raccoons, squirrels, and stuff like that. They'll go into the attic for sure. Just because it's sometimes a lot of time it is warmer up there, right? And you got
Yeah.
all this insulation up there. They'll take that and use it as bedding or whatnot. So make sure like your attic is sealed. There's no like protrusions coming through the roof or the attic vents, stuff like that.
they'll
Also,
climb right through there, won't they?
yeah. So,
Jeez.
and with the chimney vent, the chimney damper. Remember, speaking about that before. You keep that thing closed because squirrels and raccoons, they'll go down there if it's warm. You know what I mean? So it doesn't happen a lot, but it does happen. And you don't want them in your house, so
That is not what you want to wake up to on Christmas morning. Like,
no.
the little raccoon coming through the chimney damper.
Be like out of that Christmas Vacation movie, right?
Oh, you know what? Actually, this brings me to another question for you, though. Just your opinion. And if you don't have one, that's totally cool. But what is your take as a home inspector on insulated attics? Is that something that should be done, shouldn't done? You don't have an opinion? Like, what do you think?
It all depends. Like if it's an attic that's a living space, obviously the walls are gonna have to be insulated, right? I
Right.
always honestly I recommend insulating every attic because when heat rises, right, where does it go? It goes up, right? Now if you have a vapor barrier right there, which is insulation, it's gonna stop it. And um, if you want a high heat bill, then don't insulate your attic. But if you want a lower heat bill, insulate that attic as best as you can.
Okay. So for energy saving and cost saving purposes, to keep your house warmer, it's better to insulate your attic.
Yes, of course.
Okay. And now, is there any issues that could develop with like moisture because of that or anything, or not really?
No, so in attics, what we look for as a home inspector, obviously, roofs that are leaking and stuff like that.
Hmm.
Any stack vent, which is basically a vent coming from the kitchen or the bathroom. It's a waste vent that has to be vented through the actual roof itself, like those white pipes you see sticking out of the roof.
Yep.
Sometimes you see that into the attic, and that's what's going to create moisture, and it gets that insulation wet and creates mold. It's no good. So that's
Gotcha.
when you have to worry about moisture.
Okay.
Or if you have a laundry room and it's venting into the attic, like stuff like that.
Okay. So yeah, so any type of ventilation that shouldn't be up there and should be going through the roof at that point.
Right. Right.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. All right. So hey, that's a good nugget right there, to insulate your attic and save on your energy and your heat bill because I
Right.
mean we all know that's getting expensive.
Come
So
here. Sit. Sit.
where's
Sorry.
the puppy? Bring the puppy on.
Come here. Come on. Come on.
Where's the puppy? I should bring Tyson on. I wonder what they would do. Oh, look at him. Is that Australian Shepherd?
He's a border collie, but hold on.
Oh, okay. What's
There
up,
he is.
buddy?
And then
Oh,
the other one's down there, just getting all jealous and stuff. All right.
what a cute pupper. Oh
But
my.
they're a handful. Hey, relax.
Yeah, they're a good handful though.
Oh yeah,
Um,
of course.
yeah, I love dogs.
Oh, me too.
Um, we gotta set them up with Tyson one day.
Absolutely. These guys will keep going and going and going.
Like him too. They just nonstop. It's like people still think he's a puppy. I'm like, no, he's 6. Like he just doesn't
Wait,
stop.
he's 96 pounds?
No. He's 6 years old, but
Oh,
he's like 52 pounds. So he's like, I guess, mid-size.
right.
Yeah. But he's just got a crazy energy, man. Like the way he gets crazy at times and he won't stop and he'll run around and go nuts and then he'll chill for a while and then he'll go running around and go nuts. Like you can't stop him.
Gotcha.
Yeah. All right. I got one more question for you because I
Go
know you
ahead.
got to go.
Yep.
Where are you going to dinner tonight, by the way?
I'm thinking Bayshore.
Oh, nice.
I don't know where in Bayshore yet, but we're thinking Bayshore. So,
Okay. I love Bayshore. It's a great
oh
town.
yeah, of course,
Yeah.
of course.
Zest is down there. That's
I never heard of it. Never. Heard
yeah.
of it.
Anthony Parada. Have you done any inspections for Anthony?
No, I haven't.
Okay. Great guy, but I think I think that's his sister's restaurant or something, but he's always posting about it. It looks pretty good.
Good.
Um yeah, there's so many good stuff down there. Primy
Oh
is
my
great
God,
too.
it's building up like crazy.
Yeah. Have you ever been to Primy?
Primy, I know it's on the list though. It's on the
Okay.
list.
Primy's good. All right. Anyway, Dad, I don't want to start
Yeah,
talking
no,
about
it's
food.
okay. You're good. You're good.
I'll I'll talk about food all day.
Oh, me too.
All right. So last thing here. What's something, maybe a piece of advice that you could give anybody who owns a home that you wouldn't really think is a big deal, but maybe is a big deal?
So like, I would say go back to gutters a little bit. Gutters go into a downspout that are next to the house, right? And a
Mhm.
lot of times I see on inspections that the downspouts are draining right next to the house, right? And what that's going to do, the water is just going to keep seeping down into the foundation, causing cracks sometimes, causing moisture intrusion eventually, and stuff like that. But yes, like get that. It's very cheap. Get those gutter extensions. Get that water away from the house as much as possible, and
Okay.
stuff like that. You know what I mean? Come here.
And I mean, those things cost like $30 at Home Depot, right? To like
Probably, yeah.
the
And
little
they're very
ones.
easy to install. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, when you just think about that, spending $30 on that as opposed to having to fix your leaking foundation, which is
Right.
thousands of dollars, it's a no-brainer.
Exactly. And it just creates soil. Like, the soil is going to be like coming towards the house now and stuff like that.
Yep.
You know, just keeping
Potential.
moisture away from the house is the best thing I could tell you.
Yeah, it would for like so many things, right? Mold, foundation. It's a no brainer to just get that water as far away from the house as
Exactly,
you can.
exactly. So
Yeah.
that's like my biggest tip. It's something very small, but could lead to something major down the road. Could, I'm not saying
Yeah.
it will, but could.
I literally have, I'm thinking of the gutter right now by my backyard that I need to put
Yeah,
the
put that
downspout.
extension on.
Yeah, I got to because it's going right there. It's hitting the patio. Like, yeah, it's already giving me anxiety thinking about that.
There you go. Nice simple fix. There you go for the weekend.
All right. So to get your house ready for the fall and winter, you got to clean out your gutters. You got to make sure that you have the downspout extension so that the water's not building up there. If you can, insulate your attic,
Yep.
so you save on some heat bills. Blow out all your lines. Make sure there's no water in pipes anywhere.
Yep.
Cover those outside spigots if you can. With that handy dandy, that thing looks like the hat Will Ferrell wears in
Oh,
Austin
yeah.
Powers.
Yes, it really does actually. Wow, that's a good point.
That's the first thing I thought of when I saw that.
That's a very good point.
And yeah, and then the only other, I mean, I was this thought just came into my mind and it escaped at the same moment because I had to make a joke instead of that. So whatever. Doesn't matter. What was I gonna say about blowing out the lines? Oh, and then this is something actually my dad said this a long time ago, and I do it at times. To make sure this is something that I do now. When you go away in the wintertime, especially if you have a basement, if it's unfinished and you have a pipe that runs to a spigot, to always turn that off. Do you recommend that as well?
That's what I meant. Yeah. So turn that pipe off and then put that little Will Farrell hat right on the spigot outside.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. So make sure that that's closed. And then even sometimes he said, um, if you have I have a line that goes to a pretty far part of my basement, he said, shut it because it doesn't need to go there. The water, if you could prevent it, if you got a shut off valve, shut it off because this way you don't have a pipe that bursts.
Yeah, if you don't need the water, shut it. Insulate that pipe with like those little foam insulators on top, and that's about it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, listen, thanks for coming on, Ralph. I really appreciate it. I think we should do another one of these as we're getting closer to spring and we could talk about, what you got to do to get your house ready for spring. And
Absolutely, totally down.
yeah. And as always, if you need a home inspector, Ralph Lush, his website is, I have it right here. Hang on. His website is lushhomeinspections.com. Very professional website. Ralph is a great guy. Highly recommend him. I've sent them out to like 1 million people already, but we're going to send out this YouTube video and hopefully people watch it. And
awesome. I hope so.
All your information will be linked down there so people can find you. All right, buddy.
Thank you again, John.
Hey, thanks for coming on, buddy. I appreciate it.
Take care.
Later.